What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm testing out some makeup that TikTok made me buy. So this is stuff that is either viral or I watched somebody that just, they reeled me in like hook, line, and sinker. I do think that a lot of things are exaggerated just to potentially go viral or to be known for a viral product. People's excitement levels are just like, oh my God, full coverage, what? I've never seen a full coverage foundation before, but that's what I'm here for. So yeah, let's get into it. You'll have to excuse me today. I may be a little like, a little mellow, a little toned down. I'm actually dealing with a pretty bad sciatica. What is it, outbreak? It's not a rash. My sciatica's acting up, okay? Because I'm 100 years old.
What you gonna show me next, old timer? Your AARP card?
Everything I'm using today will be listed below in the description box, including my skincare prep. So check down there for a little breakdown. This is the NYX Marshmallow Primer. I think I actually did talk about this in a previous like new drugstore makeup video. There's a couple of things I talked about in that video. So did I make things go viral? So yeah, this is $17 at Ulta. It's infused with smoothing marshmallow root extract. That's a new one. It says it smooths, softens, extends makeup wear for 16 hours, hydrates, soothes, evens tone, minimizes texture, blurs lines, adds a soft focus finish, and keeps makeup fresh. By the way, $17 for a primer. You're really going there, aren't you, NYX? So as you can see, it does have like a very, very slight pinky white hue. I mean, I don't know if that would be a problem for people with deeper skin tones. I doubt it. Like it says, it's supposed to be translucent. Yeah, it does have a very soft, moussey whip texture. So I mean, it feels really nice. I have oily skin, by the way, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this all over. We're gonna see how this helps everything. Now, I have been testing this out here and there for the last like, what, 3 months now? It's been a while. Honestly, I'm just someone that keeps getting reassured that primers really don't do a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. Like my makeup usually wears the same with or without primer. Setting spray is a game changer. But primer, I'd rather just moisturize. Like moisturizer does usually the same thing. All right, so as you can see, there is a slight glow to my skin, but I wouldn't call it like a luminous, dewy kind of primer or anything. Like it adds extra hydration, which isn't that what a moisturizer does? As far as evening your skin tone out, there's no color to it. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that one. But as far as blurring my skin, I don't really see that. Like, I mean, my pores are still very like SpongeBob level, but my skin definitely does feel softer and smoother. And I mean, this is a pretty good base for foundation and stuff. So if your moisturizer just isn't doing it for you, then this could be a good primer. I will say it does feel just slightly kind of greasy on my skin, but it definitely is transparent. So there is no white cast or ashiness or anything to it, even though there's like a slight pinkish hue. So that's good. Worth being viral? I don't know about it. The next thing is the LA Girl Luminous Glow Skin Illuminator. So this is in the shade Afterglow, and this never gets talked about. Like I wouldn't consider this to be a viral product, but this is something that I saw one person talk about, and they were comparing it to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. So it's a really pretty warm gold champagne kind of color, and it does have like microfine golden sparkle in it. So hopefully that doesn't actually translate onto the skin. I don't like sparkle. Like we don't need that. Just see what it looks like on its own. I don't want to put it all over my face because I do have that primer down, so I want to see how the primer shows through with foundation and stuff on, but I do want to see what it looks like by itself. I actually haven't used this one yet, so we are in for a surprise. Oh, a little bit goes a long way. Yeah, I didn't need that much. It's got a really pretty subtle natural glow, but you can't see that golden sparkle in there, so that's really good. So yeah, look at that. I mean, that's pretty. I've tried a lot of illuminators here recently that feel really greasy on my skin, but this one doesn't feel greasy or oily. It's just like sinking right into the skin and not leaving any kind of like line of demarcation or, you know, that weird like wet kind of feeling. So that's good. So far, this is a win. Next thing I have is a peach color corrector, which is something that I normally don't use, but this is a Milani Supercharged Brightening Under Eye Tint. And I got the shade 130 Deep Peach, which is the darkest. It is not for my skin tone, it is for deeper skin tones, but you know what? Here we are. But yeah, the ones that are talked about all the time are peach and pink, which are supposed to be super brightening. They seem magical, but of course, because they're viral, they're out of stock like everywhere. So I looked at it and I was like, you know what, even though that's supposed to be for a deeper skin tone and it's called Deep Peach, it really doesn't look that much different than any other peach corrector. Yeah, this is $8.99 at Ulta. It says it color corrects and illuminates the under eyes with color correction pigments and microfine pearls. It says lightly tinted 2-in-1 makeup and skincare formula brightens dark circles and hydrates with hyaluronic acid, plant-based collagen, niacinamide, and caffeine. So all very good things. It kind of seems like a concealer with like an eye cream hybrid. But yeah, it's a really nice, light, hydrating, more of a dewy finish kind of concealer or corrector, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, even when it sets a little bit, like there is some luminosity to it. So it's not like a flat matte. I will say the times that I have used this, I haven't really seen a huge difference in how my under eyes look or like how my concealer wears. Like it's not like my under eyes look more smooth or hydrated or plump or, you know, nothing like that. Like I'm still trying to weigh the pros and cons and whether or not I feel like this is worth it. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but for me, I don't really feel like it completely covers up the blue and the purple tones in my under eye area. Like I don't know if I'm just getting it mixed up with my hollows where my under eyes are pretty sunken in. I think I can kind of see some blues just a little bit there peeking through. So yeah, as far as the formula goes, it is pretty nice, but as far as the actual coverage and what it does, I don't really get the hype. So for under eye concealer, I have the Makeup Revolution Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer. And I don't know if this product as a concealer is what's actually viral, but I do know that the shade Deep Caramel is what has been viral. Like people have been using this as a contour and comparing it to the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand, which is supposed to be a beautiful shade, beautiful formula. But this comes with like a little sponge tip applicator, very similar to that one. But people say that the shade is very, very close to the Charlotte Tilbury ones. But couldn't find this for months, and I just got this in last week, haven't used it yet. So I was kind of curious to see, you know, is this actually just a good concealer by itself? Like, let's try like a skin tone shade and see how it works. So I got the shade Light, and oh my God, this concealer is so freaking amazing under the eyes. Like very, very minimal creasing. It's hydrating and brightening, and most of the time I don't set this. Like it just wears so well on its own. So yeah, here's what the applicator looks like. So yeah, it's a really nice, like bouncy, squishy kind of applicator, and it feels so nice and just so therapeutic on the skin. Like it's one of those products that I don't know when to stop. I will say I have used quite a bit of product in a very short period of time. So like I've had this maybe, I would say like a month and a half, and I'm already like halfway done. So I'm gonna go ahead and bounce this on, and especially when it comes to like the color correction area, I'm just gonna like stipple it like this. Like I'm not gonna drag it and swap. So if you do want better coverage, you can let it sit there for a couple minutes and let the pigment kind of soak into your skin. And it just melts into the skin. Like you barely have to blend it out. The sponge, like when you apply it, does most of the work for you. Hopefully you guys can see, like this is so freaking skin-like and natural, but you have coverage, but it's not like super, super full coverage. Like it's just enough to where it just makes your under eyes look so much more bright and just awakened and just lively. I build it up just a little bit more right through here in my dark circle area and where I have that hollow. Look at that. Like I would be totally okay with just walking out the door. Like this is fine. So now let's try the Deep Caramel shade. So I haven't tried this. We gotta line it up. Now I will say, just based off of seeing other people use the Charlotte Tilbury one, that one definitely does seem to be more cool tone. So this one does have a little bit more warmth to it, even though it is more of like, I would say this is more like a neutral shade with just a tad bit of warmth to it. But I mean, the Charlotte Tilbury one is meant to be a contour shade, so obviously it's gonna be more cool tone. This is blending out super well. It's just melting the skin, much like I expected, because oh my God, where is my nose? Hello, Muddy McGee. I think I may have applied too much though. You think so? Nah. Look, I'm trying to account for the fact that I'm gonna put a powder foundation on top of this, so I'm leaving it a tad bit darker, okay? Trust the process. Actually, I think I'm gonna run this through my crease on my eyelid too. I'm just gonna take a little bit from, oh, that's a lot. Oh, that's a nice little like crease shade. Look at that natural definition, natural contour. I like it. So yeah, this concealer, you need it. So moving on to what I'm most scared about, and that is the powder foundation. Here we go. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation in a Powder. What? Foundation in a powder? You mean powder foundation? So this is $14.99 at Ulta, and ooh, it actually doesn't have a very good rating. That's a tell-all. See, that's what's so funny. Like, you have all these people on here that are just like swiping it on like, oh my God, coverage, oh my God. Of course you're gonna get full coverage when you swap it on heavily with one of these little nasty things. I mean, it's duh. It says foundation in a powder, covers like a liquid, it mattifies like a powder with no cakey look, up to 24-hour matte finish with buildable to full coverage, no transfer, waterproof, heat-proof, sweat-proof, lightweight formula that feels breathable. Those are some pretty big claims. I'm gonna do it the way that all the peeps on TikTok do, okay? I'm just gonna swap it on with the little nasty sponge that comes with it, which please, like, throw this out. Look at that. I'm just gonna put it right here, okay? Let's just do a little swappy thing like everyone else. Oh my God. And we're just gonna blend it out with the sponge on this side, which is not the superior way to blend it out. All right, so there's what it looks like, very briefly swapped on with the sponge. So, I mean, it does cover it up pretty well. Like I said, of course, it's gonna be full coverage with a sponge because you're not actually buffing it into your skin. So it's just gonna sit on the surface in like a very like opaque kind of stripe. But I mean, it's not bad. What brush do people use with powder foundations nowadays? Like, I haven't used a powder foundation in like 15 years. When I first got into makeup, powder foundations were like what you use. Like, you wouldn't use a liquid foundation, but apparently they're making a comeback. But to be honest, they never really deserve a comeback. So I'm just gonna buff this into the skin, and again, avoiding the under eye area. And I wanna be careful to try to not disrupt the contour, so I'm just gonna like stipple it on. But I gotta say, for a powder foundation, it doesn't look bad. It actually does look pretty smooth, and I mean, it looks like I've got a liquid foundation on with like a setting powder on top. Like, it does look pretty normal. Here's what it looks like up close. You can still see my hyperpigmentation and dark spots underneath, so it's definitely not like super full coverage. I do want to see if I can get better coverage, so I'm just gonna go and stamp right on top. And I mean, yeah, it's not like super buildable. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here because I don't want to get cakey or anything, but mama's looking pretty smooth. Moving into some brows now. So I have the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen. I have the shade Taupe. I will say that I've seen a lot of pen brow markers and stuff that like there's just something off about the applicator. Like, it's either too thick or it doesn't really make hair-like strokes. And this is really good for making those hair-like strokes. Like, it's a nice brush tip applicator, and it's very fine, and it comes to a very precise point. The one thing I don't like about it is that it doesn't come with a spoolie, which I feel like even though it's like a pen marker kind of thing, like, you still need a spoolie. I'm gonna go in and just start making little hair-like strokes. So I'm not applying a lot of pressure, and I'm just kind of starting from the root and like flicking it upwards. So as you can see, like, that's only a few little flickeroos, and it's already done quite a bit in regards to like definition and filling them in. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. The one thing I don't like about using brow pens like this is that you have to be pretty careful. Like, you can't just go in and just like I usually like to be pretty fast with my brows, but with this, like where you're making those very precise little tiny hair-like strokes, you have to be like, you have to take your time, okay? I don't have time to take. So although I would prefer a spoolie like a normal person, I gotta say, it actually ain't bad. Mascara. You could not get on TikTok for a day without seeing this used at least like 15 times. This is the Maybelline Sky High Mascara, which I have talked about before. I actually put this in a comparison video where I compared it to the new L'Oreal Air Volume. So if you want to check that out, I go pretty in depth, and I'm gonna put that right up there. Well, here's what the wand looks like. So it's just that really nice, like narrow, tall. It's a very subtle cone shape, but this is a really good formula, okay? Like, this is one of the best drugstore mascaras I've tried. I will say this is definitely more of a lengthening formula than volumizing, which is kind of my qualm with it. But for me and my lashes, I personally prefer it more whenever I don't have a lot of eye makeup on, or in conjunction with other more volumizing formulas, and like just kind of, you know, pair them up. I mean, you can get more volume out of it if you layer it up, but its strong suit is definitely length. But this is definitely one of those mascaras that I trust to last all day long without flaking, smearing, smudging, transferring. Like, it will hold up through thick and thin. Now, one complaint that I have now after using it for as long as I have is that where the wand is so flexible, it can sometimes be hard to like really get in there and like push the wand into your lashes to build it up, because if you push it too hard, it'll just like knock back into your eyelid and get all over. So just be careful with that. I mean, look at that. Look at the lashes. Let's try to build it up a little bit to see if we can get more thickness and volume. Wow, I don't think I've ever built it up this much. Like, this is wow. I usually stop after like a layer and a half or 2 layers, but yeah, I just kept going, and this is amazing. So for the past few months, I've been into the fox eye technique, which is just keep an eyeliner on the outer half of your eye and then making like a little flick. But for the past few days, I've just been making the flick. No eyeliner on the lash line, like literally just whoop, right out through there, little tiny flick, takes like 4 seconds on each eye, and it looks so good. And it's so easy, like, especially with mascara on. Like, I do it after mascara, and I just let my lashes be my guide, because that's actually the purpose of a winged liner. Like, it wasn't to like, oh, be all the way out to freaking Helsinki. Originally, it was just to mimic your lashes flicking outward. I'm gonna go into that Lift and Snatch brow pen, and yeah, we're multi-purposing. I'm literally just gonna stick it right here in like the little, like where the water lines meet up. I'm just gonna stick it in there and flick it out. And I'm just gonna make a little bit of a wing. So when I first started doing this, I was just making like the little line and not even making a wing with it. But a couple of days ago, I started doing this, and I've really liked the effect. And look at that, like, it's beautiful. And it's so freaking easy. Like, why is this so easy with #1 mascara on, but without eyeliner to give you a guide? Like, it's just, it looks so good. You get the effect of that elongation and like fox eye, but you don't waste any lid space, especially if you have hooded eyes. So there you go. Try it out. You're welcome. I'm gonna try something. I hope this doesn't mess up my makeup, but I just want to see how the LA Girl Luminous thing, the Illuminator, goes on top of powder foundation. This may be a mess. I'm gonna take it on a stippling brush and just go right there. Ooh, I'm scared. Yeah, it's not doing it for me. It's not necessarily messing it up, but like the glow is almost non-existent. So for lips, okay, let's talk about lips. So I have the NYX Shine Loud Vegan High Shine Long Lasting Liquid Lipstick. Yeah, this is $11.50 on Ulta, and basically it's a liquid lipstick with like a shiny gloss on the other end to, you know, really lock it in. And I'm pretty sure I talked about this in a previous new drugstore makeup video too, so whoops. We're just kind of doing like a whole revisit. Everyone on TikTok talks about this being super like comfortable and hydrating and glossy and long lasting. My complaint is that the liquid lipstick side is so drying. The clear side will fade off the fastest. Like it's kind of like the barrier, and then like once it fades off, you're left with the liquid lipstick underneath, which is super dry and like crumbly, crusty, cat butthole-esque. Like it's horrible. So this is the shade Life Goals, which I don't think I put on camera. They call this a peachy nude. That's like straight up orange. I love the shape of the wand because where it comes to a nice point, you can really like hug along the lip line where you don't have to use lip liner if you don't want to. But boy, does it start drying fast. Oh, hell's bells. So yeah, you have to wait 90 seconds and you have to keep your lips apart, like where they don't touch. All right, 90 seconds is probably up, so let's go into the gloss side now, which comes with a really nice brush tip applicator. So let's go ahead and hydrate this bitch. Feels like I'm putting it over glue. Ugh. I will say once you put the gloss on top, like it really is super glossy and like juicy looking. Like you would never be able to tell that this is like a liquid lipstick kind of thing. But again, when that fades off, you're left with that really dry, crusty like liquid lipstick underneath. So you pretty much have to keep the gloss on at all times. I'm gonna let it dry for a few minutes and then I'm gonna go in and like do a little kiss test and transfer test. So let's move into some setting spray now. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Mattifying Long Wear Spray. It's supposed to be a 16-hour wear, and this is supposed to be a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, which is supposed to be like the best setting spray ever. I haven't tried that one. I want to, but her stuff's way too overpriced. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply it to one side and just see if we can see a difference from side to side. I honestly don't see it really doing anything different, especially in terms of prolonging the wear of my makeup or mattifying. Like it really doesn't do a whole lot. So you can see from side to side, this is the setting spray side. I mean, it doesn't really look a whole lot different. I mean, it may look a tad bit more perfect on this side. Like it just looks a bit more, I don't know, like everything's kind of meshed together a little bit better, but it's definitely not the best. Okay, let's go ahead and do a little kiss test now. So I'm gonna take my finger and ooh, we got some crumbly, crumbly jumblies. Yeah, you can see a lot of gloss on there, but you can also see the color like kind of flaked off a little bit. But on the lips, like it looks perfect still. Let's do it again. Oh, that's a lot more. I mean, the color is still going pretty strong, but I will say the gloss on it, like the top layer, has come off quite a bit. Like it's definitely not as glossy and juicy as what it was when I first applied it. So yeah, the first thing to go is a gloss, and then you're left with crumbly jumbly. So I actually have another gloss to try that I really want to put in this video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pat off that top layer of gloss. Ugh. So last but not least, we have the Essence Shine 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 Wet Look Lip Gloss. And let me tell you, this is viral for a reason. It's $3 and it gives you the juiciest, most wet, glassy, glossy look of all time. Look at that. Oh, it's thicker, but it's not so thick that it's just like goopy and thick and sticky. Like your lips aren't gonna like, you know, that weird like little bubbly spit thing that happens when you have really thick gloss on. It doesn't do that. It's just thick enough to where it just stays on longer. So yeah, very, very comfortable, very moisturizing, just prolongs the wear of your lipstick. It's amazing. And Essence has sales all the time at Ulta, so I think I actually got this for like $1 something. So definitely worth it. Yeah, that is it for TikTok Maybe Buy Viral Makeup Edition. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything on TikTok that you've come across that you would like me to try in another video like this, then let me know in the comments below, because I mean, I'm all about trying some new makeup. So just give me some ideas. Give this video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel. Turn the notification on to always see my stuff, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.